Chapter 1. The golden sunlight illuminated the vast expanses of vineyards that characterized the Bordeaux region. Trevor's gaze was fixated on the beautiful landscape view from his seat as the train whizzed by. The flight to Paris passed in a blur of cloud and quiet normalcy. Seatbelt lights, a plastic cup of wine he barely tasted, the soft thud of wheels meeting the runway. At Charles de Gaulle, he bypassed the rush for short connections and booked a seat on the train south instead. 2 hours of forward motion without expectation. Time to let the buzz of travel drain from his body, to watch the countryside slide past in muted greens and golds, and arrive in Bordeaux with his thoughts finally aligned with his purpose. He stepped off the train into a wash of sound and motion, the bottom of his shoes striking stone, rolling suitcases rattling over seams in the platform, French curling around him in quick musical bursts. The station breathed out warm air and sunlight, and Trevor paused just long enough to adjust the strap of his bag on his shoulder. Bordeaux announced itself immediately, unapologetically alive. Outside, the city unfolded in pale limestone and wide boulevards. He followed the blue tram signs, joining a loose current of commuters and tourists. The tram arrived with a soft hum, its doors sliding open like an invitation. He boarded, finding a place by the window as the city glided past. Rows of elegant facades, wrought iron balconies spilling greenery, and streets that felt older than his country, and yet effortlessly modern. The farther they moved from the station, the more refined everything became. Designer storefronts replaced corner shops. A hotel rose into view, tall, discreet, and polished, its entrance framed by stone columns, and a doorman in a dark coat who nodded as Trevor stepped onto the platform and crossed the street. The lobby was cool and hushed, all marble floors and muted voices. His check-in was seamless, practiced. Moments later, his suitcase rested at the foot of a neatly made bed overlooking the city. Trevor loosened his tie, stood at the window for a beat, then made a decision that surprised even him. The room could wait. Outside again, Bordeaux welcomed him back as if it had been expecting him all along. He walked without direction, letting the streets pull him forward. Cobblestones caught the late afternoon light, each stone polished smooth by centuries of footsteps. Cafes spilled onto sidewalks, tables crowded close, glasses catching the sun, laughter rising and falling like music. The air carried layers of scent, butter and sugar from a nearby patisserie, coffee just ground, something green and mineral drifting up from the river. The city softened as he moved closer to the Garonne. The streets widened, the breeze sharpened, and the river came into view at last, broad and unhurried, reflecting the sky in muted bronze and blue. He slowed, resting his hands on the stone balustrade. A bateau mouche slid past, its wake rippling gently against the embankment while the tourists drank in the view. Across the water, the opposite bank shimmered, less polished, more lived in. He followed the curve of the river for a while, shoes tapping a steady rhythm against the pavement, the day stretching comfortably around him. When he finally turned back inland, hunger had crept in, not sharply at that point, but for sure present. That was when he saw the cafe. It was small and unassuming. A chalkboard menu propped near the door, with the windows thrown open to the street. A handful of wrought iron tables clustered outside, occupied by people who looked as though they'd been there for hours and saw no reason to leave. Trevor chose a table without thinking, ordered a café au lait in careful French, and leaned back as the cup was placed in front of him. Steam curled upward, carrying warmth and the faint bitterness of roasted beans. He wrapped his hands around the